Okay. Hey, how's it going? I'm Georgia Schofield. I'm from New Zealand and I'm a photographer, and I've been lucky enough to do 2 Sup 11 city tours. My tasks on the team are mostly photographer and drone pilot, so I take all the drone video and photos as well. But to be honest, when you're a volunteer, you kind of end up doing a bit of everything. From helping out in the kitchen, to driving the boat, to serving at the bar if you need to in the end of the night. So my first Sup 11 city tour was 2017 after ISAs at Denmark. And I'd watched the tour for quite some time because my friends from New Zealand had gone over and raced, and Chris Parker was a massive fan of the event, and so I'd seen everything about it for at least 2-3 years prior. So I was really excited to go, and Daniel and Bruno just told me, Georgia, jump in the van, like we've got people coming to pick us up. And from just these volunteers coming to pick up Daniel and Bruno, they ended up picking up Chris, Kaio Vaz, Martino Rogai, and myself. And we all drove from Denmark in Klitmola, from Casper's house all the way to Friesland. So that was a bit of an epic adventure. Big props to those guys who drove us. And I showed up with little warning to Ritske and Mariah. I thought Daniel and Bruno had organised all of it. Like, hey, I'm just going to show up. Everything's easy. I'm coming to take photos for Starboard. And yeah, no worries. And Ritske and Mariah were looking at me like, who's this? Where did they come from? You think you're sleeping on the boat, do you? And so I got told, well, if your work's good enough, we won't make you pay for your berth in the boat. So it's like, all right, challenge accepted. By the end of the trip, it looked like I had done a good enough job. Describe Sup 11 City in one word. Family? Yeah, family. You go through the great times with them, you go through the bad times with them, and at the end of the day, you're there to pick each other up, and whether you're a paddler or a volunteer, you're all in it together. Do I do any water sports? Yes, I do. So my background is sailing and windsurfing. So I started off racing little boats, Optimus, and then moved into windsurfing racing and representing New Zealand twice at the Youth World Championships. And after that, or around about then, I discovered stand-up paddleboarding as a tool to actually help teach windsurfing. We used to go around on our paddleboards and herd up our group of windsurfers and teach them like that when we had a big group. Over the years, I learned to kite surf a little bit, do a little bit of sup surfing, and now I'm completely addicted to wing foiling. That's my new thing. I absolutely love wing foiling. And on very, very rare occasions, I've been known to jump on a paddleboard in a race. What's the best thing about Sup 11 City Tour? Staying on the boats is so cool. As a crew member, you're on the crew boat, so that we let all the paddlers go to sleep early and we have our own boat to ourselves. Because as well as the day stages, for the volunteer team, there is also the night stages, which are critically important stages on the Sup 11 City Tour. But to be honest, I guess that comes down to the team that you're with. Like, for me, working mostly with Mayola and Edwin with the photos, you know, they're amazing photographers and they're constantly inspiring me to take better pictures, and yeah, they're a pretty awesome team. My favourite spots to take photos on the tour. Well, I was lucky for the last event that I did. I was on the boat with Ritske, so I just flew the drone from the boat around the entire course. So people will be paddling past us, I'll just launch the drone and go follow everyone around, and it was super cool and easy. So obvious answer, windmills. Like, nothing says Friesland like windmills. They are everywhere and they're so unique to that part of the world. They're really, really cool. The prologue is obviously a favourite. I mean, how many times do you get to paddle through the canals of Leeuwarden with 100 of your best mates all drinking beer? I mean, we weren't drinking beer. And having Brutus with the sound system, so it's like a paddle and a party, and so much fun. And in terms of like a specific spot, I really am always inspired by the beginning of day 2. Leaving Sloten. It's beautiful. Here's a couple of photos from that. Just amazing landscape. And yeah, what more can you say? First thing in the morning, mist on the horizon. It's just absolutely stunning. Special moments. It was for me last year watching one of my good mates, Bruno, win the event all on his own, pretty much at the end of day 1. I've known Bruno and Daniel since they lived in New Zealand. They moved here about 4 or 5 years ago, and they had just started racing SUP, and now they thought they were all that, like, yeah, we're going to train, we're going to be serious, like, we're going to be the best. And like the local Kiwis would beat them at every race. But I saw just this different level of dedication that they had. And slowly they got better and better and better until they were winning the races. At this point, they left New Zealand and moved to Thailand and really committed to being professional paddleboarders. And that showed with signing them to the Dream Team. And when they went and won their first SUP 11 City Tour, paddling together, that was amazing. And then to do it again, like, it was just so cool to see these brothers work as a team. And yes, obviously one person's on the top of the podium, but every step of the way there's hard work that they're backing each other up, training the entire year. And then this last year, Daniel had other goals with his paddling in his life. So Bruno was doing SUP 11 City on his own, and he had a massive target on his back. Everyone was looking to beat him, and he didn't give them the satisfaction. He was just that much more dedicated and just held himself to such a high standard, and to see him succeed was just so special. So, favourite pick. This is not hands down my favourite picture, but it's my favourite story. This is Caio Vaz. Caio is a world champion SUP surfer. He's Brazilian. He's used to summer, board shorts, surfing. Apart from the famous Fiji relay races, I've never seen him do a paddleboard race before. And at the end of ISAs in Denmark, after he had just been SUP surfing in the freezing cold Hawaii, in Klitmola, he was like, I'm going to sign up and do SUP 11 City Tour. So jumped in the van with all of us and came on down. And this is a freezing cold Brazilian with ripped up hands at the end of stage 1 in 2017. So they had to actually skip day 1, so they did an extra long day on day 2. And Caio was an absolute champion. So, what to expect for 2020? Well, here I am in lockdown in the countryside in New Zealand. I'm not allowed to go on the water right now, but hopefully in 1 week time I can. So I'm really looking forward to that. But what that means for the future of paddleboard racing and the future of being able to go to 11 City, I really don't see the possibility until there's a vaccine to really travel, because whether we travel anywhere, we're going to have to spend 2 weeks in isolation every new country we travel to. So I'm thinking first opportunity might be 11 Islands in Thailand. I would really love to see that event go ahead. Alright, thank you guys all very much. Stay safe out there. Keep healthy. Wash your hands. Dankjewel. I'll see you soon.